My dear friends, welcome to Rajashekhar classes on Applied Data Science with Python. This is lecture number 347. In this lecture, we will try to understand best and worst cases of naive Bayes classification algorithm. Since we have seen naive Bayes in various cases, let's summarize where it is good and where it is bad. The fundamental assumption is the conditional independence of features given class label. This is the fundamental assumption. If this assumption is true, your naive Bayes performs very well. Remember, this assumption is very fundamental. So, as this assumption starts becoming more and more false, naive Bayes performance deteriorates or degrades. But there is some research which shows that even when you don't have perfect conditional independence, when some features are dependent, naive Bayes is actually not very bad. It works reasonably well. What is the justification for this? Imagine if you have a positive review. In positive review, the probability of finding a word like good is very high. Similarly, the probability of a word like great is also very high, isn't it? That positive review means you can find words like good, great, similarly phenomenal, but these words are not independent. If you have seen word good in a review, the probability that you have find a word great or some synonym of good is very high. So these words are actually not fully independent. They are not actually independent. They are not actually conditional independent given that the class label is positive. But still, naive Bayes performs very good on text data like this. So there has been some extended research which shows that even then some features are dependent, not fully independent. Naive Bayes works reasonably well. The second important thing is for text classification problems like email spam filters, review polarity. Review polarity means review is positive review or negative review, and for lot of these problems, especially high dimensional data, naive Bayes is considered is one of the very useful algorithm for text classification task. It is often used, as we discussed earlier, as a standard baseline or standard benchmark against which other algorithms are often compared. Next one is naive Bayes often used when you have categorical features. Naive Bayes is extensively used when you have categorical features or binary features. I can say binary is a special case of categorical features. In my own personal experience, I have not used naive Bayes with real valued features. I can say it is seldom, we seldom is used. We don't use naive Bayes as much for real valued features. Naive Bayes is super interpretable. Yes, its interpretability is very good. Naive Bayes is super interpretable. The interpretability is really good. You will also get feature importance, which is very useful, especially in applications like medical applications where we have to tell where we have to tell the doctor or tell the practitioner why the model gave this output. And other best things is that runtime complexity is very low. The training time complexity is also low because it's order of n. Runtime space complexity is also low because what I'm just storing prior probabilities, class priors, and storing my conditional probabilities or my likelihood probabilities. And this is very simple to store, unlike k-nearest neighborhood algorithm. In KNN, we have to store whole data at runtime because of these three things. Because of these three things, This is very used in low latency applications. Remember, your whole Naive is simple. It's based on counting, especially for categorical data features, or even I can say binary features. Naive is basically super simple to understand. It is extremely super to interpret, simple to even to implement. If you have to implement Naive from scratch, it is trivial. You can actually write it in 20 to 30 lines of code, and it is very intuitive. Anybody who understands counting can understand Naive. There is one catch with Naive, which is easily overfit. If you do not do Laplace smoothing, if you do not do Laplace smoothing, it is very easy to overfit. So you have to do Laplace smoothing and find the right alpha using cross validation. If you miss Laplace smoothing, it is very prone to overfit. That's we saw earlier. Overfitting basically means high variance, isn't it? High variance basically means as data slightly changes, the model changes drastically. So you should use Laplace smoothing in that case, isn't it? Lot of libraries have default Laplace smoothing inbuilt, like scikit-learn has default Laplace smoothing inbuilt facility. This is the simple and straightforward lecture. As I told you, it is simple to implement. Just go through this lecture. If you have any difficulty, please keep a comment. Thank you very much.